Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session, which is on what extra you need to prepare for the other management entrance exams, popularly referred to as OMETs. So as you know, one of the most important exams is CAT. But other than CAT, you have a variety of exams like IFT, NMAT, SNAP, XAT, TISNET, Maharashtra CT, FEMAT, and so on. So we'll be discussing some of what extra preparations you need for each of these exams. This session is brought to you by me, Nilanjan Dutta, a CAT 100 percentiler, one of the topmost educators on Unacademy and Unacademy Plus for the CAT and the MBA exams segment. So this is a brief about myself, and at the very onset I wanted to inform all of you about the Unacademy Plus decision making course that has been conducted by me, Nilanjan Dutta, an extra alumnus who will be guiding you on what exactly you need to do to crack the all important and the most important scoring make or break section in XAT, which is the decision making section. Note, the course is available as part of your Unacademy Plus subscription, so you need to subscribe to Unacademy Plus. So while subscribing, you can use the discount code Nilanjan Dutta to avail the Unacademy Plus subscription, which comprises of decision making course as well. So these are the reasons why decision making course is so very important. We're looking at the variety of decision making topics, ethical dilemma situations, quantitative decision making, analytical decision making. All of these will be taught, including how you can solve more questions and sets in less time. So this course will help you master all the tips and tricks related to decision making. So do make sure that you're going and subscribing to Unacademy Plus almost immediately. So these are the subscription options that you have. The most recommended is always the 12-month plan, which is also the cheapest as well and is ideal for those who are preparing for CAT 20. For those of you looking at this year's season only, as a 19-20 admission season only, you can go for the 6-month subscription. This will take care of not only your XAT, SNAP and the other exams, but also your GDPI. As you know, GDPI plays a major role in your ultimate B school selection. So based on where you're looking at CAT 20 or where you're looking at this year itself, choose the 12-month or the 6-month subscription plan. Remember, irrespective of which plan you go for, the 1-month, 3-month, 12-month or 6-month, if you use the discount code Nilanjan Dutta, you'll get the subscription at an even more cheaper price, even more cheaper than the prices that are quoted here. Note, other than XAT decision making, one of the other important components of XAT is the QADI section. So for that we have the no pen paper approach, which involves a variety of 30 seconds based approaches to quants and DI questions. So that is why we have the score booster workshops for that QADI. So again, conducted by me and extra alumnus. So both of this as well as XAT decision making is available as part of a single Unacademy Plus subscription. So just get subscribed for at least 12 months or 6 months. The GDPI courses are to follow. So how do you get the discount code? So first what you need to do is choose your subscription plan. So let's say you've chosen the 12-month subscription plan. Then here in the referral code section, you select your code, click on apply. It'll say the code has been applied successfully, the discount will apply, and you are good to go as far as checking out. Just remember, there's no space between Nilanjan and Dutta in the discount code that you're using while subscribing to Unacademy Plus. So make sure that all of you today itself are going for the 6-month subscription and not dealing any further. Use the referral code Nilanjan Dutta subscribing. For all your juniors preparing for CAT 2020, ask them to go for early bird long-term subscription at either 12-month or a 24-month subscription that will be taking them till GDPI season 2020. 21. So we've already started with this course, so make sure that you're subscribing immediately by today itself. So now, the first thing that when we talk about other management exams is why at all bother about other MBA exams, given that CAT is accepted by so many other top B schools. The reason for that is, first thing is that the top B schools, yes, most of them are via CAT, but you also have some of the top B schools which are not taking via CAT, and you have to get separate exams like XRI Jamshedpur via XAT, SIBM Pune and FCH MRD via SNAP, IFT has its own exam, TIS has its own exam in TISNet, NMIMS has its own exam in NMAT, and so on. For a lot of these top B schools, you have separate exams which can only provide you access into the B school. Similarly, in some cases, you might have alternate exams, like for that can be used for colleges like IMT, FPGen, and so on. Not that they only take via that, they take by other exams as well, like CAT and so on, but it's also a second route that you're getting to these colleges. The other reason, other than the fact that there are top B schools available, the other reason is, as you might have seen, CAT is an unpredictable exam. You never know what has happened in your slot. And there's also, even if you know your raw score, there's always going to be an element of normalization creeping in. And so unless you're sure of getting a 99.7 plus percentile in CAT, that is, unless you've already calculated a raw score to be greater than 180 plus, it's going to be difficult for you to sit back on CAT alone. Given that XRI Jamshedpur comes in just after A, B, and C, it will be wiser if you're getting a raw score in CAT of anything less than 180, you also take the other MB exams seriously. Now, what exactly do you need to do in these exams which are beyond CAT? So the bad thing about CAT is that in CAT you have 3 sections, out of which 2 sections are biased towards people who are good with numbers. So if you're not good in numbers, then automatically you have 2 sections going against you, DILR and quants, which means your overall percentile is always going to be in favor of people who are good with numbers. If you're just good with verbal, it'll be difficult for you to get a good overall percentile because you have just 1 section in your favor. Compared to that, what other management exams do is they give you a better opportunity to maximize on your strengths. For example, GK or current affairs is an important component of exams like SNAP, TIS and IFT. IFT is already done for the year, but SNAP and TIS are remaining, and in fact, in these 2 exams, GK plays a very, very important role. Unlike an IFT where it just plays a moderate important role, here in the other exams, it plays a very important role in your percentile and your overall score. So do make sure that all of you are practicing on your current affairs, making sure you're knowing whatever happened in the last 6 to 12 months, looking at various handouts on current affairs, and you're preparing yourself well. If there is something that you haven't prepared for CAT, you might have done a bit of preparation for IFT, but as you can understand, there is a lot more preparation needed for SNAP and TIS. But unlike an IFT where the weightage to GK was only around 10% of the paper, in SNAP and TIS, it is definitely more than that. And SNAP and TIS, it will make a sizable impact how well you perform in the GK section. Similarly, in exams like XAT and TIS, so in XAT what happens is they replace the DILR section by the decision making section, which is again a more verbal oriented section than a calculative section. I understand in decision making you have a couple of questions on quantitative decision making as well, but in general, decision making is more biased towards critical reasoning type and logical analysis of verbal passages like an RCs and so on, which makes it more relevant for people who are good with English. So again, if your English is strong and your maths and DIR is not that strong, in XAT it gives you an opportunity to counter on 2 sections. You can score really high, VRC and DM. The moment you do that, you just have 1 section to worry about. So if you clear the cutoff here, you'll get a good percentile because you have 2 sections going for you. Unlike in CAT, if you don't score well in 2 sections, it's very difficult to get a high overall percentile. Similarly, in exam like this, maths is very easy and it's supposedly less than equal to class 10 level maths questions are there in quants, which makes it very simple for those of you whose quants on the weaker side or who haven't been much in touch with the quants or numbers since after class 10 or during graduation days. You need not worry about this quants at least. Also, for a lot of you, you all are better with fast solving. More than accuracy, you're better with fast solving, and that is again something that exams like NMAT and SNAP and IIFT give you that advantage or the luxury, because these exams are speed-based exams where approximately you need to solve questions every minute. And the moment you expect to solve questions every minute, 1 question per minute on an average, it automatically means you have to be quite fast in the way you solve. Similarly, for those of you who want to do questions which are a lot easier as far as level of difficulty, CMAT is the ideal exam, because CMAT is mostly to do with level of difficulty LOD 1 related questions. You rarely have questions which exceed LOD 1. So again, for those of you who have a worry about or a fear of dealing with LOD 2 and 3 questions, remember CMAT is an exam which you can capitalize on. So a CMAT, just preparing LOD 1 questions is enough. For SNAP tests and IIFT, preparing GK is very important in addition to the other exams. SNAP and NMAT, making sure that you're going on the time front, you're solving questions faster is very important. And in XAT and TIS, it is more of, especially in TIS, it is more of up to class 10 level knowledge of quants is enough. But in GK will become much more crucial, whereas in XAT, the XAT decision making section is very important, which is why at the start of the session itself I spoke to you about the XAT decision making course that I'm conducting on Unacademy Plus. So do make sure all of you are attending every session live as part of the XAT decision making course. Also, you're getting the luxury of the extra time to prepare. For example, to XAT, there are almost 4 weeks left. So 27-28 days are left, which is a reasonably good enough time to prepare. Given that the syllabus is 80% similar, it's just a little bit that is different, which you need to work upon. The other part is having your customized exam strategy is very important for each of these exams. Remember, each of these exams are testing you on different qualities, so you must appear for the exam in a different manner. For example, some of the exams are more into sectional cutoffs, some are just about maximizing your overall score and so on. So you need to keep those in mind. Some have sectional cutoff at 50 percentile only, some have it at 80 percentile types, some may have it at like XAT and so on, which have different sectional cutoffs for different sections and for different programs again. In some exams like NMAT and so on, there is no negative marking. So that is also something you have to keep in mind. Also, in some exams, you may have the concept of theta questions, which are more of the type in the answer type, just like you had in CAT, and not exactly the traditional MCQ questions. So I'll pause for a couple of minutes in case anybody has any questions. So let's look at exam by exam now. So XAT is the most important exam. So, and XAT scores are also used by a lot of institutes. It gives you access to XRI Jamshedpur, which is one of the top 5 B schools in India. So here you have 3 sections. That the QADI is one section where you have the quants and the DI portion merged into one. You have decision making, which comprises of 3 parts to it, primarily ethical dilemma situations. You have analytical decision making, and you have quantitative decision making. The third section is the VARC section. In the VRT section, other than what we prepared for CAT, you've got to remember that in these other OMETs exams, it is more about attempting all the VA questions plus attempting 1 or 2 RCs only. Unlike in CAT, where it's more about attempting the RCs, because RCs are the only thing that come with MCQs. Here, you have VA questions which end up taking a lot less time but have the same weightage as the RCs. So that means you should attempt more of VA questions. And in VA, you have a variety of topics like fill in the blanks, like idioms, grammar, synonyms, antonyms, and so on. A lot of these things, they come in and are very important. In addition, the traditional ones like para jumbles and so on. Next one is SNAP. So SNAP, as I said, is a speed-based exam, and you have the additional emphasis on GK as well. It's an exam which gives you access to colleges like SIBM Pune, FCS Chamardi Pune, SIBM Bangalore, SIB Pune, and so on. So SNAP, the extra portions involve a lot in the LR section. LR is a very important component of SNAP, and a lot of extra topics are there. Especially you have standalone questions like singlets, where you have, unlike the caselet model, you have a single question followed by options which you need to mark from. You have a lot of emphasis on topics like input output based LR, coding decoding, so these are topics which you really need to emphasize a lot for SNAP. Along with that, things like visual reasoning, basic number puzzles and so on are also going to be important, including sequences and series. So these are going to be very important for SNAP. So in SNAP, the LR portion was very important. QA DI, out of QA DI, you've got to keep in mind that you have a few questions that come both for SNAP and NMAT, which come on data sufficiency, and other than that, QA is more or less LOD 1 with a few LOD 2 questions, but mostly it is LOD 1 type. But again, it's a speed based exam, which means you need to do faster. So try solving more of LOD 1 questions, Surjit, but try solving them much faster. On an average, you've got to look at 1 minute per question. And an LR, just make sure they're going through these topics in greater details. DI, there's going to be no logic based DI, it'll be straightforward DI sets, so that is going to be a relief. But again, you've got to solve questions quicker. And of course, make sure that you're focusing on GK, which is a new part, except for the IFT exam where you might have had a bit of touch of the GK section. IFT for this year is already done. So as you know, there's the paper which has multiple sections, including this year there are a number of sections with 4 instead of 6, and it's applicable only for IFT. NMAT, this is a window based exam, so you have the concept of you can afford to retake the exam in case your scores have not been that great in your first attempt. Again, a speed based test, easy questions, but what is more important is there's no negative marking, which means it's expected that you'll answer and attempt every single question, since there are no negatives, which is why the scores will go up drastically. Also, with some of you, this might have been a first OMET. For some of you, it might be an OMET which you're taking a retake. It might be towards the end as well. But just make sure that here in the VA post section, you're emphasizing a lot on the vocab portion, because vocabs is very, very important in NMAT. And especially scoring well, knowing your synonyms, antonyms, and your basic vocabs will go a long way in determining a percentile in VARC. In the QA DI section, data sufficiency is important. In the LR section, it's still the same topics of SNAP, that is topics like input output based LR, coding decoding, visual reasoning, numbers, sequence and series, singlets. These is what will be important in NMAT as well. Sometimes in NMAT and SNAP you might have Q questions on critical reasoning as well. So make sure that for the other random exams, including for XAT as well, critical reasoning is important. So please make sure that you're revising a bit of critical reasoning as well. I know it's not important for CAT, but for your OMETs, it's going to be a major key topic. So a lot of you have this question on whether to take NMAT retake or not. So if you're getting 220 plus, no need to take a retake. 250 to 220, ideally you need not take a retake, just convert your call by giving a good GDPI. Anything below 215, 210 to 215, again you might convert normally also, but if you can afford to take a retake, it will be good, because it will increase your chances. 200 to 210, I would say it's a must retake situation, because very unlikely you'll convert in this range, but if you just increase your score a little bit, which is very much possible, you have a good chance of converting. 185 to 200, you may take a retake only if you're ready for colleges like Bangalore and Hyderabad, NM Bangalore, NM Hyderabad as well, in addition to NM Mumbai. Because from one of the, usually as far as increasing your scores by around 10-15 is usually possible, but more than 20 is usually something which is rare. Less than 185, ideally I would say don't go for a retake, because it's very unlikely that your scores will drastically improve. Having said that, in exception scenarios where maybe you had a one very bad day compared to you believe that you deserved a lot better, so in that cases there might be exception, but in general if you are prepared well and still you're ending up with these kind of scores, we've come up with whether you should take a retake or not. So ideally anything above 215 is something where you can safely avoid a retake. 220 plus means no retake is needed. Having said that, if you still want to go for a retake, it's up to you, because remember this is just our analysis. If you still believe that you want to take a retake and increase your chances for your GDPI, you can always do that. Remember, your entrance exam score matters a lot in your final selection as well. Other than that, you have the other MBA exams as well. So you have the Maharashtra CET, which some years take it for JBIMS and certain other Mumbai colleges. TISNET, as I mentioned, is for the TIS, which is the HR offering specialization, the Master MA in HR. Again, here as I said, it's more about class 10 level quants, but it's very important that you score well in GK for TISNET. CMAT is mostly for a notch lower B schools. There are a couple of good B schools also, though, however, via CMAT. The other thing about CMAT is that it's mostly LOD 1 questions. So those of you who fear LOD 2 and LOD 3 problems, you would be a lot comfortable in solving CMAT. So accordingly, you can look at CMAT, where you can only need to prepare for LOD 1. The other exam is MyCAT, which is for Mika. So this is a different kind of exam which happens where you have also things like psychometric tests and all sometimes. So you've got to be very careful in attempting this paper. So in overall, you've got to be more speed based in your other exams. So except for CAT and XAT, all the other exams are mostly more speed based. So you've got to be very careful in doing questions a lot faster than the way you would solve ideally in CAT. So any questions on any of the other MBA exams before we move forward? So on that note, as we discussed, the most important component for XAT is the decision making section. So do make sure that all of you attend the decision making course on Unacademy Plus and conducted by me. As you know, I'm an XAT alumnus. So I'll be guiding you on the entire decision making module that includes ethical dilemmas, quantitative decision making, option elimination techniques, smart guessing approaches, analytical decision making. Everything will be discovered as part of the decision making course. Just make sure you're subscribing to Unacademy Plus using the discount code Nilanjan Dutta. So you have the following options while subscribing to Unacademy Plus: the 1 month, the 3 month, the 12 month, and the 6 month subscription. The 12-month subscription is the most recommended, the cheapest, and the most ideal for all of you, especially if you're preparing for CAT 20. But if you're looking at only this season, so in that case, go to 6-month subscription. Will cover you till the end of the GDPI season, including the other management exams. So choose between either 12-month or the 6-month subscription based on your need. Remember, irrespective of which one you go for, the 1 month, 3 month, 12 month, or 6 month, if you use the discount code Nilanjan Dutta while subscribing, you'll get it at a much cheaper price. This also includes the XAT QADI course as well. So both the XAT QADI and the XAT DM course is available as part of the same subscription. So once you select the subscription plan, make sure in the referral code section you're entering your code Nilanjan Dutta. There's no space for Nilanjan Dutta in the code. Click on apply, it'll say apply successfully, and you'll be good to go. So go for a 6-month subscription at the end of GDPI season. Use the code Nilanjan Dutta. On that note, on behalf of myself and on behalf of Team Unacademy, all the very best to all of you. Thank you once again and happy learning.